Most of us live in a state of constant preparation. We convince ourselves that our real lives will begin once we've cleared the next hurdle, assuming the right moment is a destination always waiting just ahead in the future. This assumption leads to a chronic hoarding of time. We sacrifice the present, trading our immediate reality for the promise of a perfectly secure, hypothetical future that we are perpetually trying to build. We act as if time is something we can negotiate with through sheer force. We treat every hour as a resource to be managed, manipulated, or held back through a kind of desperate physical resistance. But the effort we put into controlling the clock masks a specific type of panic. Beneath our lists and schedules lies a deep-seated anxiety about the nature of aging itself. We worry about our bodies weakening, yet the true source of this dread is the social consequence of that decline. We fear the end of the road because we suspect that at the final edge of our lives, we will be left to face the silence entirely alone. It is the specific terror of reaching a point where our strength has failed, and there is no one remaining to witness our pain or hear our final unspoken thoughts. The text, Samay Vikalp or Jivan ke kuch ekant anubhav, details this internal struggle. It argues we don't fear the loss of health as much as we fear the isolation that accompanies it, the doubt any hand will be there to hold ours in the end. To avoid confronting that loneliness, we use the lack of time as a convenient fiction. We claim we are too busy to pursue our true desires, using our schedules to shield us from the risks that could actually lead to connection. By constantly delaying the things that matter to avoid future discomfort, we ironically ensure the outcome we fear most. We create the very isolation we are trying to outrun. Life eventually narrows into a single, foggy intersection. We find ourselves standing before blank signs, facing a moment where a definitive choice can no longer be avoided. We often blame our hesitation on external obstacles or a lack of resources, but the reality is internal. We are paralyzed by fabrications of our own making. Fear acts as the primary manipulator here. It operates as an internal puppet master, populating our minds with distorted projections we mistake for undeniable truths. It tricks us into believing our anxieties are solid walls, turning a simple path into a dark forest of impossible risks that keep us twitching at the end of its strings. Compounding this fear is the ego. We carry the weight of an invisible crown, burdened by the heavy expectations we assume the rest of the world has placed on us. We become so concerned with maintaining a flawless image, we fall into the trap of perfectionism. The need to make the correct choice prevents us from making any choice at all. These combined forces bind us. Doubts, fears, and insecurities act as physical restraints, tightening around us until we are unable to take even a single step down a new path. In this state of paralysis, we often make a frantic retreat. We choose safe, familiar routes that offer immediate relief from our anxiety, even if they lead us far away from our genuine goals. This is the danger warned of in the proverb, Ub puchtaye holtkya, jub chidian chuggai kate. It describes the uselessness of looking back at the harvest once the birds have consumed it. The ultimate tragedy is not the possibility of failure. It is allowing our ego and our fear to keep us from ever stepping into the field to begin with. Time escapes the bounds of mathematical figures or ticking clocks. It is an anubhuti, a purely internal experience that shifts based on our perspective and our stage in life. For a child, time is an endless game. For an adult, it becomes a breathless race, a frantic attempt to meet demands and secure the future before it disappears. In the final stage of life, that race slows into an elongated shadow. The urgency of the hunt is replaced by the stillness of reflection as the sun begins to set. From this perspective, our priorities undergo a radical shift. The anxieties that once dictated our decisions and kept us frozen in place suddenly appear fleeting and inconsequential. We realize that the discomfort of facing our fears lasts only a moment. In contrast, the regret of remaining paralyzed is a permanent burden that we carry for the rest of our lives. Avoiding that permanence requires a deliberate change in mindset. We must pick up the scissors and consciously sever the strings of doubt that we have allowed to bind us. time will eventually manage us with a silent, brutal indifference. Our only defense is to manage our time first, making a choice while we still possess the power to move. Step out of the shadows of your own hesitation. The mist at the crossroads only clears when you begin to walk. Freedom exists in the courage to make a choice in the present. It is the act of stepping forward while we still have the agency to do so, leaving the heavy silence of unmade decisions behind.